I'm Barry Tramel, and I say Mike Gundy hit a home run with his new offensive coordinator.
We're going to find out about Todd Monken once the season starts this fall. From the Opepco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching the Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson. Press Row is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. Barry, this was a long time coming. I think that there was sort of a thought that there might be a new offensive coordinator at Oklahoma State shortly after the season was over. Now here we are, early February. Todd Monken, the guy, I'm not sure a lot of people were tossing around his name.
No, we looked a lot at Mike Leach, Dana Holgorsen proteges, and of course Todd Monken isn't in that family. So he's sort of out of left field, but this is a guy that played or coached for Les Miles in the OSU Renaissance, the early part of the 2000s. Went on to LSU with Miles and has since been at Jacksonville in the NFL. Recently promoted to quarterback coach for the Jaguars, so Jacksonville, Jack Del Rio thinks highly of Monken. So I think it's a good hire for this reason. I think he's got a good widespread offensive background. He was in Stillwater. People that know him, Joe DeForest, Mike Gundy worked with him. I think he's a very good PR guy. I think a lot of people like him. So I think it's going to be a very good hire. And here's what I like best about it. For all of Holgorsen's many attributes and the great offense he brought, it was not a great staff situation in terms of meshing with the staff. I think we will have that with Todd Monken. There's no reason to think that Monken will be a sort of a lone soldier here working on the offense and everybody else goes over there and does whatever they want to do. I think this will be a community effort.
Yeah, and I think he was one of the more loved assistants sort of across the program during the Les Miles era. Good recruiter from what we know. So a lot of positives when it comes to Todd Monken being hired as the offensive coordinator. My only question is, we heard very early in the process and on through it as we were listening to Oklahoma State talk about this open position that they wanted somebody with play calling experience. And to our knowledge, Todd Monken has not ever been a play caller. So that to me is interesting. I wonder if he's going to be, I have to think he's getting those duties, but yet having not done it before, I wonder what has changed, Barry. Do they just think that he's able to do that and they're willing to take that chance? They like him enough in other ways to go ahead and give him the job? I don't know, but that was something we heard a lot during this process. We want somebody with play calling experience. Now they've got a guy that doesn't have that.
Well, it's a great point, but here's the deal. We got that information from Mike Gundy. Gundy said the thing that attracted him to Dana Holgorsen was the play calling. He wanted a play calling. It wasn't so much the scheme. Well, before Dana Holgorsen's arrival, Mike Gundy is the one that taught us that scheme is everything, and that if you don't put in the right game plan on Saturday, you're screwed no matter what. I put no stock in what Gundy said about play calling. I think he just sometimes talks and doesn't realize what he says, and I'm not holding to that, in other words. I think Monken is going to do fine as an offensive coordinator. I stand by what I've said for 5 years. Play calling is overrated. Game planning is underrated. I think Todd Monken can put together a great game plan. He's going to be doing the same thing Dana Holgorsen did, which is take over for some ball players. He's got a more veteran Brandon Whedon. He's got Justin Blackmon and those receivers. He's got a veteran offensive line. He's got Cooper and Harrison and a bunch of solid receivers to help Blackmon. I think the OSU offense will not miss a beat.
Well, and you know, I read some comments from some fans after this hiring was announced, and some people said, you know, here's a guy that is not known as an air raid guy. He's not known as a Mike Leach, you know, protege or somebody that's followed in that mold. Get ready for a lot of Joseph Randall, a lot of Herschel Sims. Listen, I'm not saying they're not going to use those guys, but we'd all be foolish to think that Todd Monken's going to come in here and start running the ball, you know, 3 out of 4 snaps. He's going to throw the ball. He's got weapons to throw the ball. There's no reason not to throw the ball. If he wants to be successful and not looked at as a total knucklehead, he's going to throw the ball. So if anybody thinks that this is suddenly a move towards the running game, I got news for you. It may not be as wacky as Dana Holgorsen's offense sometimes, but they're going to throw the ball, Barry. That's what they've got the ability to do. Even those running backs are good catching the ball. No reason to think Todd Monken won't continue that trend. Hey, stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.